When I think of home, I think of a place where there's love overflowing. I wish I was home, I wish I was back there with the things I've been knowing, winds that make the tall grass.
Hi, my name is Larry White, and I am your producer and director of The Inner Beat. The Inner Beat is a socially conscious program that sometimes showcases cultural events as well as community events. And occasionally, we'll even bring you a little song and dance. So sit back and enjoy The Inner Beat.
Well, I think folk have heard from the master in terms of turning poetry into good common sense with regard to our people. Let me just talk about a few things. People say when Barack Obama became president, that was the end of the old era. This, he said, would be the post-racial era. Now, it was important. There's no doubt, and I agree with Hawkeye that I was one who felt not during my lifetime would it ever happen. It happened for the same reason the Emancipation Proclamation happened, that the Civil Rights Post-Reconstruction amendments to the Constitution happened, the same reason Brown v. Board happened, the same reason that affirmative action happened. It happened because white folk, usually small groups, the Supreme Court here or executive there, decided that what we were pushing for, fighting for, praying for, if we at least recognize it, the folk in charge, it would be of benefit to them and to the country. Without that benefit, none of those things would have happened. Brown v. Board is really an anti-communist decision, not a equality decision. And usually after the, I call it interest convergence, when the interests of white folk converge with that of blacks, then some progress happens. Now there's also interest divergence, because after a little while, the folk that didn't want it to happen anyhow decided to rise up. The people who helped make it happen back down. That's Brown v. Board, isn't it? That's the Emancipation Proclamation. The same thing happened with Barack. Barack was a brilliant a politician, a very smart man, had a great campaign, and the country was in a mess. And it was partly in a mess because of the person he was running against, who would help put it in a mess. So instead of a small group, a whole lot of white folk decided, whoa, I guess we'll go with the young black guy. And they voted for him, interest convergence. We wanted him to be elected, many of them. And now majority of white folks voted against him, but that's not the story. We'll talk about that another time. And he was elected. That was interest convergence. But having been elected, just as with Brown, just as the Emancipation Proclamation, folk then got nervous. Well, what is a black man doing in the White House? Suddenly people wanted small government. Suddenly they wanted to take their country back. They didn't want to take the country back during Bush, who was taking them every way but right. No, suddenly they want to get the country back. So that we are now not in the post-racial racism era, but rather in an era in which racism has been resurrected, you see. And there is, I wish the president recognized that more than he did, although if he recognized it too much, he wouldn't have got elected and wouldn't stay elected. So I cut him some slack. I can't think of anybody who could do it better. And the country is still in a mess. And for the first time in history, as far as I know, the whole of the other party is opposed. They want him to fail. You see, I've never heard of that before. They may be opposed to this policy, but to want the President of the United States to fail? What is that all about? But there is a message, and as Hockey said, the truth will help make us free. And the truth is that we are still in a racist society. We still have to work very hard to make all of this survival, really, continue to be possible.
Wake up everybody, no more sleeping in bed. No more backward thinking, time for thinking ahead. The world has changed so very much from what it used to be.